Thank you, Ben. Don't go too far, as we will be joining back with you very shortly. At the Munich Security Conference, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi emphasised the importance of European involvement in efforts to end the war in Ukraine. Wang stated that Europe should play a crucial role in facilitating dialogue to resolve the conflict, highlighting that need for diplomatic solutions. He also welcomed ongoing efforts to end the war through dialogue, stressing the necessity of open communication between all parties. Next up, a deadly attack in Ukraine's Odessa region left one person dead and a residential building damaged. The assault, carried out by Russian drones, took place today. Firefighters were seen battling flames on the roof in the footage released by the State Emergency Service. Odessa's regional governor, Olaf Kipner, confirmed the attack overnight on Telegram. Earlier on Friday, a Russian strike on one of Odessa's Black Sea ports killed one person and injured 6 others. We are now being joined again by Ben Aris. Thank you so much for joining us back here today. With these attacks that keep going and the Kremlin is saying we want to talk and we want to negotiate a deal for a ceasefire, how can the people of Ukraine trust these statements when attacks keep coming in and on residential areas now?
Well, this is how Putin negotiates, that he makes his demands, and the threat is that we are going to defeat you in the long term militarily, like I explained, and he turns the screws. So as long as the talks are going on, and in fact, as the talks approach the end, then the attacks intensify. And this starts, I mean, they've been attacking the energy infrastructure since the beginning of 2023. But what happened last May is they intensified, they tripled the number of drone and missile attacks. And missiles in particular are particularly damaging because while Ukraine has defenses against drones, it has very limited defenses against missiles. And it's desperately short of ammunition, specifically the Patriot missile ammo. It's basically run out. And so the skies are open. And what Putin has done is he waited until the winter, and then using these powerful missiles, they're systematically been not only blowing up the power stations, but what's been new in the last season is that they're targeting the substations. It's a technical thing, but basically they're taking out the power grid. And that's plunged, a large part of the country into darkness in the middle of the coldest winter in decades. The temperatures in Kiev are -20. Inside apartments, they're -5. People have ice on their TVs. And the idea is to put intolerable pressure on the population in order to push Zelensky into a capitulation. I have no choice, that people are freezing to death in their apartments. And the attacks are going on, and they will continue to go on, intense attacks, particularly hitting cities, residential areas, in order to put pressure on the population. And according to the polls, the Ukrainians are being incredibly resilient, and most of them have taken the attitude, bring it on, we will not, we defy you, we won't capitulate. However, the sentiment towards, should we do a deal? Is it acceptable to give up unoccupied territory in the Donbass, which is a big problem for most Ukrainians? That sentiment has become growing, more popular, or rather more people are willing to contemplate it, at least. And in that sense, you're softening the meat ahead of the negotiations. Putin's hoping that the population is becoming so demoralized that the pressure on Zelensky to actually capitulate and make serious concessions becomes realistic.
Thank you so much, Ben, for joining us here today on NewsX World. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
My pleasure.
In his keynote address at the Munich Security Conference, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio emphasized the vision for America's future under the leadership of President Donald Trump. Rubio outlined the United States' commitment to lead global renewal and restoration. He declared that the US would be driven by a vision of a proud, sovereign future rooted in the strength of past civilizations. While stressing America's pre-pardons to act independently, Rubio expressed a preference for collaboration with European allies. He reiterated that Washington and Europe belong together, underscoring the importance of a strong and resilient Europe in ensuring global stability. Let's listen to what US Secretary of State Marco Rubio had to say.
President Trump, the United States of America will once again take on the task of renewal and restoration, driven by a vision of a future as proud, as sovereign, and as vital as our civilization's past. And while we are prepared, if necessary, to do this alone, it is our preference and it is our hope to do this together with you, our friends here in Europe. For the United States and Europe, we belong together.
US Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated that the United Nations has played virtually no role in resolving major global conflicts. Speaking at the Munich Security Conference, Rubio expressed concern that the UN, despite its potential, has failed to offer solutions to pressing crises, including the ongoing war in Gaza. Rubio emphasized the need for reform in global institutions to make them more effective in addressing the challenges of today. Let's listen to what US Secretary of State Marco Rubio had to say.
The United Nations still has tremendous potential to be a tool for good in the world. But we cannot ignore that today, on the most pressing matters before us, it has no answers and has played virtually no role. It could not solve the war in Gaza. Instead, it was American leadership that freed captives from barbarians and brought about a fragile truce. It has not solved the war in Ukraine. It took American leadership in partnership with many of the countries here today just to bring the two sides to the table in search of a still elusive peace.